Welcome to another edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com podcast presented by Wicked Brands. I'm Jeremy Elliott, joined by, again, the very reg Ryan Hand. You must have been at a softball tournament.
Yep, and luckily it didn't rain this week. I had 2 days of sun this week. Last week I only had one. The week before I only had one. This week was 2 pounders. I mean, man, that sun didn't go away.
Brutal.
And I was okay with it.
Really?
It's all right. Yeah. I'd rather see the sun than the rain, Jeremy. Come on.
No.
I know you like doom and gloom, so you love the rain and shit like that. Not me. No.
It's not that I like doom and gloom. I like seeing the seasons change. Our boy Jovan Schultz gets on me all the time because it rains during our pay-per-views, and then I complain about it. And he goes, You like seeing the seasons change? I said, rain isn't a season. It's a weather pattern.
It is in Pennsylvania sometimes.
No kidding.
Yeah.
We're going to jump in. We have Logan Schuchart in segment 2. I'll be handling that interview, but we have Ryan for our traditional 3 segments. I got housed in the picks this week because, you know, when I pick Kyle Larson, he wrecks. When I pick Logan Schuchart, he doesn't make the field. When you pick him, they either win and get a top 5. This is an Aaron Reitzel situation all over again.
I don't know what to tell you. You got to take that up with Logan. Take it up with Logan. Ask him.
I am going to take it.
I think he has a legitimate I think he has a legitimate, not problem, but like answer to the situation that he didn't make the Kings Royal. I think a lot of guys have a legitimate answer.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in segment 3. But for now, we're going to jump in. Eldora Speedway was really, I don't know why anybody in the country races while this is going on, because I don't think anybody cares about any other race. And we're going to start with the Eldora Million. Obviously, we'll talk about the rest of the races during the week. But Logan Schuchart, $1,002,023. The reason the odd numbers, so it is the second highest paying motorsports race in the country for the year, the first being the Indianapolis 500. It's on dirt. It was at Eldora Speedway. Logan Schuchart, dominant car most of the week, and he led every lap and got it done on Thursday night.
I'll tell you what, I watched his heat race on Wednesday night, and I felt pretty good about my pick. I really did. His interview after the heat pretty much said it all to me. He said, we lost the Kings Royal last year because we couldn't take off. He said, this thing takes off. And it took off, and you need to double file restarts for that whole race. You needed to take off. Not that I don't think they had too many of them during the feature, but it took off, and his car was a rocket ship, and he did a whale of a job. So congratulations to them guys. I mean, I think that's man, it's like a story. You look back, 10 years or 9 years, however long they've been on the tour, you look back at what they started from, and now they're the only $1 million sprint car race winner ever. It's kind of a rag to riches, but they'll use that money up quickly, because it does. That's what you do in sprint car racing. You get $1 million and you spend it. So, but just awesome week. I can't think of a team that deserves it more, honestly. From where they started to where they are now is simply phenomenal. And just Logan's here, man. He can win the big races, and it shows.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think they're a championship contender, obviously, this year. I think that's a 3-horse race, but Logan can win at Knoxville. He can win at Eldora. And I think we saw some speed at the Grove a little bit last year, especially from all of Shark Racing. So, yeah, when it comes to the big shows, Logan Schuchart can win a bunch of races. And let's face it, they're in it to make money. Yeah, the prestige is nice, but at the end of the day, you got to make money. And he made a lot of it Thursday night. I don't think it would have mattered if you would have started him 6th, 5th, 10th.
Yeah.
That car was good Wednesday and Thursday. Half decent Friday, but it was nothing like Wednesday and Thursday. And I agree with you. I wrote about it on SprintCarUnlimited.com. Rags to riches, from eating bologna sandwiches and sleeping in the trailer to now. he's going to get a check in his bank account for $500,000. He gets 50%. He said that, and good for him.
That's pretty awesome. I mean, that is. I mean, what he sacrificed to be where he's at today is simply. I mean, that's the really wanting to do this. And he is honestly. I don't think there's any. It's not a mistake. It's not. I think it's totally by design that these guys are capable of winning the big races at Eldora, at Knoxville. They've built their team around, like, I think they've built motors and cars and stuff specifically to be super competitive at these races, which is the races that you can make a lot of money. Look, you go up and down pounding the road, $10,000 here and there. That it helps, but it's not. They've built their program for these big races, and it's fun to watch.
Speaking of big races, the Million wasn't the only race. We had the King's Royal Saturday night. It rained a bunch of the. It rained early in the morning a lot. Then we got more rain right around 4 or 5 o'clock. I happened to be there. Track really locked down. A lot of moisture in that track, and it didn't widen up with the humidity in the air. Donnie Schatz started on the pole. He wins his sixth Eldora King's Royal at Eldora, and really ends some struggles, maybe puts some rumors to bed temporarily. Big win for Donnie. And I know the track was narrow, but obviously Brent Marks, who we're going to talk about in a minute, showed you can pass. Donnie did not is the only guy who didn't start on the front row of the heat race. He passed Aaron Reitzel from third to win it, put him on the pole, and then from there he got it done. And I do want to say too, he was the smoothest around that speedway. Donnie's experience came into play that night.
I thought the heat race won him the race. I mean, that was fantastic. How he timed up the start, his motor took off. He started on the inside, which no one all week. I mean, every time they rolled the wheel or talked about starting spots, no one wanted on the inside. Nobody. I mean, yeah, during the features there was times when it was okay to be on the inside, but if you had your pick, if you had to say, hey, all night I'm starting on the inside or the outside, you're going to probably pick the outside. And he got pinned down there on the inside, but he didn't get pinned very long. It was the heat race was fun to watch. He did I didn't know what was going to happen getting into 3.
No.
I mean, they were wheel to wheel, and I didn't know what was going to happen. But the heat race won him the King's Royal, and his car was so good through the bumps, which that place is too fast to have bumps like that, by the way.
Yes.
Jumps, bumps, humps, whatever you want to call it. But no, Donnie, I think I read it was his 13th six-figure payday, which is like way, way more than anybody else. Way more in sprint car racing, in the history of sprint car racing. So that's Donnie Schatz being Donnie Schatz right there.
I know this. If I need a loan, I'm going to Logan or Donnie Schatz.
Yeah, how about it?
No doubt about it. No
Good
doubt.
place to start. I don't think you'll be getting much, but it's a good place to start.
Yeah, I can ask.
You can always ask.
But no, Donnie, I think when you get on these tracks where it is difficult, everybody says he doesn't like that. He doesn't get up on the wheel. Donnie Schatz can get up on the wheel. When he wants to, he can get up on the wheel. And I just thought his car, he was able to negotiate those pitfalls, bit a lot of people.
Oh, yeah.
There were some flips and spins over in turns 1 and 2, which I thought was worse. Again, Gets it done. Not surprised at all. And by the way, we've got to talk about Brent Marks. He started 11th, came up to 2nd. I thought he was going to win. When we were at the break and he was running 3rd and all over David Gravel, I thought this is Brent Marks' race. He showed he could pass. He went different. He moved around a lot. He got to Donnie, but then Donnie pulled away and won. He was up by over 3 seconds. Donnie just turned up the wick and was gone.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was certainly a track that was hard to pass on, but Brent's been really good at Eldora. So it doesn't No, obviously it doesn't surprise me a lot that he could pass there. Obviously, in those conditions, I didn't see him get an 11th a second, so that was very impressive, very impressive. But I mean, Donnie was certainly up on the wheel. The funny part, Jeremy, is if this racetrack would have been somewhere in Pennsylvania, this rough and rutted up and high speed and one lane narrow, we would never hear the end of the bitching. But I don't hear a lot right now.
Now, I saw a lot about the format, which again will
The format, but the format's been like that for the Kings Royal forever.
save it for segment 3. Don't get excited. I don't want you to get redder in your.
All
I'm
right,
going
all
to make
right,
it
all right.
to segment 3.
Oh, I'll make it to segment 3.
Getting all hyped up. Um, Brad Doty Classic. Kyle Larson, big shock, gets the win. That was a highlight of his week.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I think he's won 3 of the last 4, and he's really good at Attica. Really wasn't. I mean, Sheldon challenged him at one point, and Kyle caught a caution, and then that was it.
Mm-hmm.
So, but Kyle wins the Brad Doty Classic. We had Brad Sweet and Rico Abreu winning on Wednesday night, the qualifiers for the million. And we had Carson Macedo winning on Friday night before the Kings Royal. Which one stood out to you, Ryan?
I don't know if any of them were like a wowing. Probably the fact I really thought Rico would contend for after the first night. I really thought Rico would contend to win one of the next 3 races, and never really did. Because I felt like he was one of my guys. He was one of my top 3 guys picks to win either of those 2 races, and never really contended. I don't know that it ever got slick enough.
Yeah.
For his deal to really come in, because but I mean, he had a good week, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I really felt like he would contend for a win.
I agree with you. I think heat races didn't go well for him, and of course, he had to get in on time to the Kings Royal, so he started
Mm-hmm.
got up to
Yeah.
just some notable things. Like Carson Macedo's back. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I can say now, without a doubt, after seeing him, he feels better. The fractured ribs are better. He doesn't wear the padding anymore. We talked to him a lot on video out there. Second, first, the first 3 nights. Also got a top 10 in the Kings Royal after having to go through the B main. I thought Carson Macedo had speed.
Oh, was that the B main? I thought that was an A main. A2 for the Kings Royal.
Yeah.
That was brutal, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, Carson looks, honestly, when they had that stretch of couldn't run out of top 10 earlier in the year where they couldn't run out of time. They got the one night they got in a crash and came from the back and made it back to like 9th or something. That looks like where they're at now. I think him being healthy helps. I mean, I think he really, I'm going to say, nutted up and raced when he wasn't probably feeling the best. And the results may have showed a little bit, but he still got it done. But I think now he's probably feeling a lot better, and he looks more like Carson Macedo now.
He does, and I'm going to take a step further, and might be one of my picks this week. I think he's going to be good at the Nationals, albeit I call it. Now, you can vouch for me. Did I or did I not 3 months ago say Logan Schuchart's going to win the million?
Probably, yeah. I think it was a consensus. I mean, I feel like this may not be the only crown jewel Logan wins.
David Gravel's winning the Nationals.
You think?
Over.
Okay.
It's over. Don't even race it.
All right.
I'm telling you, he's going to win it. I'm on a roll, baby, except, of course, when I pick against you. But that being said, also something else that stood out was I thought Buddy Kofoid was good every night. He had top 10s in every race at Eldora.
Yep.
Rico still had speed. I was impressed with Kyle Reinhardt making 3 of the 4 shows. Wrote a story about Justin Whittall making the million.
Yeah.
Dylan Cisney won a heat race, first time on the track for competitive laps.
Bishop.
Austin Bishop looked really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of notables this week.
Absolutely.
I'm anxious to see what they do next. So,
I mean, I feel like, look, I feel like the format, the role of format, whatever you want to call it, for the heat race invert certainly helped a lot of them guys, even either night, because like for the Kings Royal, that anybody at time good, it killed you. I mean, it just buried you, like you were in big trouble.
right.
But I felt like some of them guys we just spoke about benefited from not timing so great at the Million, and it put them in a good position to win a heat race, and they got her done. They did. They won the heat races and looked good, and they were in the big guy. Made the show that night. So that's cool.
Yep, agreed. Moving to the Howard Kading Classic out in California. Again, my guy's going for the lead, gets a flat tire. Corey Day, who you didn't take this time. You took Justin Sanders. He finishes second. Shane Golobic gets the win.
No surprise.
A little bit to me because it's been a while since he won a significant 410 race.
But it was in his wheelhouse, Ocean, right?
Yeah, but
he's good there.
He's good there.
I didn't look at that and go, oh my God, I can't believe he won.
Oh, no. I didn't look at it like that. It's just, Dom, Justin, Corey Day, of course. And of course we had a dash fiasco.
I just read that. How
they draw for inversion in the dash. I think a 0 was taken and somebody ran over and said, no, we're doing it where you pick numbers. So that was thrown out. And well, I mean, at least they didn't throw out the whole dash after it was run.
Wow.
It's just, I have no answer for what happens out there. Now, I wasn't there, but I've been told about it by a couple people who were there. I'm just saying, it seems to be shenanigans all the time.
Yeah. I mean, do you not know when you set up your program how you're going to draw or not draw, or are we doing an invert? Are we doing each car draw? I mean, how can you not know?
I don't know. There's a lot of I don't knows.
And that's a big problem.
Yes. Like, I'd love to know what was said at the driver's meeting.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do for the draw. We'll figure it out when we draw.
We'll figure it out after we draw. So, I don't know. Either way, Shane started on the pole. He drew a 0. He would have been on the pole. Drew a 1. Was on the pole. Problem is, Justin would have been second, and he ended up 6th. And I know he was fast. So, I don't know what's going on out there, but we're going to move on that note. Freddie Raymer, hey, feeling pretty good. Got his 10th win. Said he was going to reach double digits. His career milestone for him. Wins at Lincoln Speedway. And Logan Wagner gets the first win of the season for Zemco up at Port Royal. Probably long overdue.
Yeah, no, they definitely have had some issues this year with honestly being able to finish races, whether it's crashes or I know they had a motor issue the one week, and they've been involved in some crashes that aren't their doing, some that maybe are, but whatever. I mean, yes, no, they got the win. And I heard the crowds are very light this week in Pennsylvania, Jeremy.
Very light. You could have shot a cannon into the stands and not hit anybody.
Grenade wouldn't have hurt anybody, huh?
No, 747.
Oh my, that good.
I saw pictures, and it was during heat races. It was not good. Again, sprint car racing has to find, in my mind, some uniformity, where there's just certain weekends where you honor the big shows. And I get it. I understand this, the season ticket holders. I get the whole sponsor, but come on, they don't go anyway.
How did Eldora do with their big, just their big event format, their big event schedule? Does that work out for them or not?
Tell you what. Look, I know they
not when Listen, when the 50-50 is over $100,000, Jesus.
Look, they paid out 2 million. They made that.
Yeah.
They get 22,000 people for the Kings Royal. And you got to remember, Friday, they make a ton because the purse is a lot less.
An outlaw purse. Yeah.
Yeah. Plus 10 grand.
Honestly, look, it's not like they're paying any of the races that they had out there. It's not like they're paying Knoxville start money either. I mean,
No.
I think the Million was $6,000. Knoxville's at least double that. I think it's 15
Yes.
or something to start Knoxville Nationals. So like it's almost 3 times that per position.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, the Million is awesome. It's a big, huge number. I get it.
Yep.
It's awesome, but I wouldn't mind seeing $500,000. You can just make it a $500,000 race next year and put the other half the rest of the way through it. It'll be okay.
And all the other tracks just take off. Just
do yourself a favor.
Grove did.
Grove was smart.
Yep.
They probably would have got rained out anyways.
Ooh. Too soon. Too soon. We got to mention, obviously, Anthony Macri. Big news last week going into, which surprises me, going into the Million. Leaves the family-owned team. I'm not going to put you on the spot about any of this, but yeah, that was shocking a little bit.
Definitely a little bit shocking. Yeah.
And it was the talk of the week. I would say more people were talking about that than the races at Eldora. And
yeah.
My social media basically solidifies that. Tyler Courtney got hurt on Friday at Eldora, has back issues. He's going to be out the rest of the season. Anthony Macri, the obvious fill-in. He's going to fill in for Courtney running All-Star and Outlaw shows. And the high limit thing's different. Corey Day's going to run it for high limit. I announced today, nobody really did that. Anthony's going to run for Bernie Stubjen. Again, it's silly season. And that's one I didn't see coming. I didn't see coming, and I'm sure you didn't see coming.
Oh, no, I didn't see it coming either.
So stay tuned.
That's right. Stay tuned.
That's going to wrap up segment 1, SprintCarLimited.com podcast presented by Wicked Brands. We'll be back in segment 2 with Logan Schuchart. Stay tuned. Welcome to segment 2, SprintCarLimited.com podcast presented by Wicked Brands. Joining us on Zoom today is Logan Schuchart, Mr. Million, winner of the Eldora Million. Logan, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Not as good as you, that's for sure. Obviously, as we said, you won I think everybody in the sprint car world knows you won the Million, and probably some people outside the sprint car world. Has it sunk in yet 3 days later that you just won $1 million?
Yeah. Well, the money hasn't hit the bank account yet. So as far as that goes, it hasn't. But just the magnitude of the race itself and, something that's been building since PRI, this race that's coming, it's going to pay $1 million. And, we knew we had a great shot at it being at Eldora. We ran good there in the past. We won there in May. And so we knew we'd have a great shot at it, but to actually go out and make it happen is another. So it's just wild how the kind of snowball effect of from Wednesday to Thursday, and it just kept getting closer and closer to it. Everything kept going right. We're getting great restarts. We were fast every time we hit the racetrack. I think the worst we qualified the whole week was third. So every warm-up session, I feel like we're on the top of the board. So we knew we had a fast car, but we all know how easily things can go wrong very quick, and they about did a few times. So just to put it all together, I think the crew did a great job. Lonnie, Brendan, CJ, Kyle were helping us. Bill always does 110%. My grandfather, Tyler, and Blake on Jake's car. Just help from everybody. They did a great job, and we were able to get the job done.
I thought one of the things that made this run possible was your heat race on Wednesday. I think by the time you hit turn one, you were second from from like eight. So how is that where the pressure was? I mean, obviously we'll talk about the A main on Thursday in a minute, but that heat race was critical. What was that like to I mean, you got on it pretty good. I don't know if your motors always take off like that, but it sure did in that heat race on Wednesday.
No, as kind of spoke a little bit about it that night. We lost Kings Royal in 2019 for that reason. The whole week we were struggling really bad with getting the car to take off, and the race car itself, once it got going, handled the racetrack very well. I was able to maneuver around, do what I wanted to do, and we were really fast. But as far as initial restarts go, we struggled really bad, and it ended up costing us the Kings Royal. So we've worked on that, and the past few years, I feel like we've been getting our cars to take off just as good as anybody's. But this week, that engine, man, I don't think anybody's car was taking off better, especially the first couple of days. So I couldn't believe that heat race, we started eighth. The original start got called back. I think we were up to fourth on that start. And I was pretty bummed out on that. I thought, man, I can't believe that this start's going to get called back. They called somebody else for jumping, and but we were up to fourth, so I was very disappointed that we had to redo it. And I actually got a run around Donnie the first restart. He was starting sixth, and I was able to get right to his outside. And I thought when I was getting called back, I thought, well, he's going to swing wide, and there's no way he's going to let me kind of go out and around him like I did the first time. But he actually moved lower the second time around and gave me almost like a straight shot forward instead of having to go out and around him. So by the time we got to turn one, I had the high side of the racetrack to myself, and we're basically in fourth by that point, entering the corner, and I had like I said, the high side of the racetrack to myself. So we ended up coming out of the corner in second. So couldn't draw it up any better than that for sure.
So you get to Thursday's A main, you're running out front, really nobody challenging you at all. How comfortable were you out there? And when did you start thinking about $1,000,000?
I tried not to think about that at all. I tried to think about just hitting my marks. The team, like I said, they did a great job with the halfway point with their responsibilities and what they were going to do, how we were going to approach it, the changes that we were going to make. A few talks with engine builder Michael Newman on how we were going to get ourselves to take off better. Like I said, we're taking off very, very well, but so is Carson Macedo and the 41 car. So, but I feel like everything we did it to the best of our ability, and the car was almost couldn't be any better. So, felt like never got slowed down by lap cars once we got going. After we got past that halfway point, as soon as I got to a lap car, they never really slowed up my momentum. As soon as I got to them, I was able to get by them, whether it were to drive across the racetrack and slide them, or they moved down a little bit and I just drive around the outside, either or. But they never really slowed me down enough that whoever was in second place was able to gain anything on me. So I'd say 10, 15 laps to go. The second, the 30 laps after the break felt like it took a long, long time. But I'd say about 10, 15 to go. I was expecting to see the white flag, and I just thought to myself, I've been in conservative mode before, where you're out front leading like that, and you start slowing down, trying more not to screw up than you are racing forward. And I told myself not to do that. I'm not going to look at the scoreboard. I'm not going to know how many laps are to go. I'm just going to try to hit my marks for as many times as I possibly can, the best I can, until that yellow flag flies. And I did see the white flag, and as many people know, I followed I don't know who it was, what lap car, but there's two lap cars in front of me, and they
Right.
both were on the top of the racetrack. And I didn't want to try to slide the one that was right in front of me or both of them, because I felt like to do that I would have killed way too much momentum. That if somebody was close behind me, they were going to get a run coming out of two, and I didn't want to let that happen. So I felt like the best thing to do was to follow them in the corner, and when I did that, it took a lot of air off the top wing, and I ended up getting really really tight when I entered the corner. So definitely a scary moment. I had to jam on the brake, get the car to turn, drive it down across the racetrack, and took the conservative roll into 3 and 4, and just made it. If somebody was close, they were gonna have to drive around the outside of me.
Well, it worked. You won the million. Obviously, a celebration afterwards. So moving forward, how does this change this team? How does this big picture? What does this mean for Shark Racing?
I don't know how much it changes us for the most part. It definitely is very, very helpful. We all know how expensive sprint car racing is. We have plans of getting a toter home. So my guys, they're staying in a semi. I don't, they don't have the toter home living, so they don't. We want them to be able to have a shower and a good place to stay and go hang out in the air condition when during the summertime when it's hot. So we're working on that, and you can spend that money pretty quick. I know my grandfather has Rich Fogel, who's a long time sponsor, helper of ours when we first started. He's been out here at the racetracks, so we're building some more bedrooms in the shop and a shower upstairs, so those guys have a good spot to stay. So that's definitely good. We got to take care of our guys. They work their butts off for us, so that's where a lot of that goes. But you can spend that money pretty quick.
How about you? I mean, this is your half. We talked about this after the race when you and I did a one-on-one, and what, and this is life-changing money. I mean, it takes, I mean, by everyday standards, not a lot of people make 500,000 in one night. What do you put some away? Do you look at your future? I know you said about your realtor was there. What does this change for you?
Yeah, it's definitely a life-changing amount of money. I mean, I never thought about making that much money, and it would take years to make that amount of money, but then to do that in one night is just unbelievable. Like I said before, I just can't fathom, putting that type of money in a bank account or however that works. Like I said, we didn't get it yet, but um, to put that in there, I definitely am going to try to make the smartest decisions possible. I have an accountant out here today, but no, yeah, part of it's I have dreams of building my own shop and finding some land. I have some land that I have picked out that we're going to start trying to build a shop on, but then also to make the smart decisions that to put myself in a good position for the future so I can race for a long time, and then for life after racing for sure.
Well, and you're young yet, so you got a good start. I mean, certainly this doesn't hurt that.
No, I plan on racing for a long time. I love this sport. I want to win every crown jewel event that I can. I want to win as many World of Outlaw races as I can and race at the, at the top with the best of the best as for as long as I can. So, I plan on being out here for a long time, but it's, guys like Steve Kinzer and Sam, they were smart when the money that they won back in the day. You can see that they were smart with their money and how they did that. So definitely want to be, intelligent about it and go about it the right way.
So 10 years ago, you embarked on the World of Outlaws, and it by racing standards, you didn't exactly live high off the hog like some of the other teams. You slept in the trailer. You guys roughed it, bologna sandwiches, the whole 9 yards. You guys really bare bones, and you got by. Do you think about that now, kind of that rags to riches story a little bit about where you were to now where you come from, or where you come from to where you are now, winning a race like that?
Sure, every day, really. I mean, we know what it's like. I feel like that's why Jacob and I are so appreciative of the people who helped us, and everybody along the way. We know how hard it is and how easily things could have went in different directions at certain points in our career. Just fortunate to be out here, let alone win a race like that. So, we still have a lot of those people that are coming around. A lot of those people were in Victory Lane on Thursday night. So that's what, most of all was the most special to me, is to see the emotion on those people's faces and how happy they were, because I know, what it means to them, and just a very happy time for everybody involved at Shark Racing to win a race like that, especially when they know how we started, and a lot of people that know the inside story and our day-to-day struggles that we had on a personal level. So that they see us win something like that, how much it means to myself, my team, and everybody involved.
What was Bobby's reaction to winning that race?
He never gets too wound up about anything. He's he came up, he had a smile on his face, shook my hand, gave me a hug. I gave him a hug, and he's like, "Man, I'm proud of you. You did a great job. You couldn't have done it any better." And that was about it. So it's like he doesn't get too wound up. So it's no, it's pretty cool. It's how he's always been. He's always been that way. So it doesn't matter what race we won. Um, I could tell, most of the time he doesn't get nervous at all, but I could tell before the feature, he kind of smacked me on the back and said, hey, go get him, or good luck. You can do it, or something like that. But I could tell, like, there's a lot of nerves and butterflies before that race. And even for myself, I don't normally ever get nervous in a race car anymore. Even our big events, I feel, I've raced enough, I have enough experience that I don't get too wound up or too worked up with myself. Not like when you first get in the car for the first time, but that race was a little bit different. I was definitely had butterflies. I was trying to talk to people before the race and keep myself busy as much as possible. So I didn't really think of the big picture and what was going on. I tried to just get in the car, do my thing. But the cool thing was, the more closer it got to it, the more I felt like, you're right where you're supposed to be. And the closer it got, with each step, getting in the car, putting my stuff on, firing the car up, but, I felt like I calmed down more and more as it got closer to it. So, just very happy it worked out the way it did, obviously. But huge race for our team, and for us to win, definitely.
Piece of cake, right? Piece of cake.
Yeah, that's what it almost scares me thinking about it. Like, man, I'm so glad I don't have to do that again, and it's over. Because I think about, what if we had to get raced out again? I thought, man, I'm glad it's over, and we did it.
Back to the story where you guys came from. Were there ever times over the last 10 years where you didn't think you were going to make it, or that you didn't think the team would make it?
Sure, it was definitely different times. I'd say more so the first 2 years we ran the Outlaws. Obviously, that was, fine, the biggest financial challenge then, before we had some of our big name sponsors in 2018 with Dragon, and then C&D coming on board a few years later, and now we have Duramax and Federated Auto Parts. But those first couple of years, we didn't have a whole lot. Racing's hard. We still are working to get engines done. We're low on race cars this year because we tore a few up at the beginning of the year. But yeah, the first 2 years, I was used to winning races my whole life, whether it was go-karts. The first couple of years we got in the sprint car, 358s, 410s locally in Pennsylvania. We won every year, at least a few races. So the first 2 years of running the Outlaws and not winning any races, barely scraping by, didn't have a whole lot of crew help. It was just Jacob and my grandfather. And every once in a while we'd have somebody come along that would help at the racetrack a little bit. But sure, yeah, you don't want to live like that for your whole life. As a young kid, you're thinking it's your college. That's how I was learning. That's how I was going to do it. So, if it got to a certain point, you feel like you're going to have to try to figure something out, especially if you want to, have a girlfriend and a family eventually and all that stuff. So, because you're not going to be able to support it doing the way you were. So, but it started to progress. We started to win races, and Even then, those after you win some races, you have a few that you're in the back, mid pack, and you feel like you have no idea what you're doing. And there's still some nights like that. So that's the difference of the top three in the World of Outlaw points is they seem like they're fast every single place they go, right out of the box. So we try to be that way. There's some that we seem to still struggle a little bit, but there's some that we excel at, like Eldora Speedway. So definitely, it definitely helps that there's $1 million to win at Eldora instead of Wilmot, Wisconsin. That I probably wouldn't have played to my favor very much. So we're happy they had a big race at Eldora. We've been fast there. We were able to make that happen, and yeah, we just keep working to continue to make our team better.
You mentioned that's a good place to be good at. Jack Hodenshield made a career out of it. So when did you feel like you guys belonged out there? Like you were an outlaw? I mean, and you struggled the first few years, obviously. Was there a point where you said, okay, we belong here?
I'd say for me, it was 2019. A few years before that, 16, 17, 18, we won a few races, but we weren't really always in the hunt. I felt like there was, there'd be certain racetracks where we'd show up and we were fast. The other ones were just kind of like a mid-pack car. We're kind of happy to get in the top 10. 2019, we ran really well at the Kings Royal and the Knoxville Nationals. We were fifth in points. It was the first year we were racing up there with the best of the best. I think we were racing Darren Pittman for fifth in points that year. And we ended up having eight World of Outlaw wins that year. So I knew we were, gaining on it, getting to that point of, competing with the best of the best. And 2020 was an odd year for everybody. Yeah. I feel like it played in our favor. It seemed like we couldn't do much wrong. We weren't falling out of any races. We were fast everywhere we go, whether that was, certain teams, just their mind wasn't in it that year. I don't know, because it seemed like I'm looking back at notes and we're trying some of the same stuff that we tried that year, and we're not very fast. So we're working on it, but it seemed like everything was going our way that year when we were fighting for the championship with Brad. And I still feel like we have a lot to learn, and we have a lot of experience since then. We've got a lot better, but everybody else is progressing also. So we gotta just keep working at it.
I wanted to ask you about the Kings Royal because you and Brad Sweet did not make the show. Obviously, the track conditions were tough because of the rain. Did it even matter?
It definitely hurt a lot less, for sure. I would have been pretty down on myself if we didn't win on Thursday. But at the same time, it definitely helped that we won on Thursday. But I told my guys I was very proud of them. I thought they did an awesome job all week. Every time we hit the racetrack, I feel like we were, if not the fastest car, we were in the top three. And every warm-up session, every qualifying session, the worst we qualified was third. So every race we were in, we went forward. So including Saturday night. So it just the format's tough for the Kings Royal. It's okay if the racetrack's wide and slick. You can start eighth and drive your way up there. I kind of wish they would bring back the wheel with it 4, 6, or 8, so it didn't. You don't have guys sandbagging on purpose. But that's really, even if we wanted to do that, we talked about we should have sandbagged or we should have we should have tried doing that. But that's so tough. We were a 12-8 something being third quick, and there was, I think, 20 some cars in the 13 zeros. So to hit that 36 car invert, David Gravel lucked out on it. I feel like they tried to obviously sandbag, but they're 33rd, so they could have very easily been on the other side of that, which we saw other cars do the past couple of years. I think Gravel was one of them. I saw Brad Sweet do it last year. And so that's probably why they didn't try to sandbag this year, and then they ended up in the same spot we are. But Brad was one of the fastest cars this week, and then he didn't make the show. To me, Carson Macedo was probably he was in the top 4 fastest cars. He barely made the A main, and then you saw Rico barely make the A main too. And to me, those were the fastest cars. So it's just with the rain, it just made it really tough.
So a couple more, and then we'll get you out of here. I got to ask you about physical fitness because you're one of the one of the more fit guys out on the World of Outlaw tour, and it seems like you put more emphasis over that over the last few years. Is that something that you had to do to become a better driver? Because you're in pretty good shape, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, you run a lot.
I do run a lot. Do that more than anything, but I just like to stay in all around good physical shape. I think it's good to me. A race car driver should be, in shape like a wrestler is to me. That's, I feel like, there's a reason Steve Kinzer was, he's like a state champion wrestler as far as I was told. And
It was.
that's, I just feel like it helps you mentally, physically, as far as being in a race car, running a 50-lap race. It's definitely gonna benefit you, but also it keeps you sharp mentally. I think it's just good all around. I think everybody should do it. But for me, in a race car, it definitely helps. There's some racetracks where you don't notice it at all, but then there is some, the last 10, 15 laps on Thursday. Uh, I could feel my arms and all that, my legs, and maybe breathing a little harder. But I told him that was about when I thought about looking at the board at that moment, and I said, no, I'm not going to look at the board. I don't want to break my focus. And I said, you work out every day to be the best you can. I said, just hit every lap the best you can, and when that yellow flag comes out, it comes out, and that's what we did.
What do you need to do to become an even better driver? What could you do to maybe be better that puts you over the top to maybe win a World of Outlaw championship?
To me, the consistency needs to just come from taking notes, understanding our race car better, working with my team, being sort of the crew chief on my car and making those calls. I get it wrong a lot. I'm not, a lot of races are won in the pit area, and I get that part wrong a lot. So I have a high respect for guys like Ricky Warner and Philip Dietz, and my grandfather when he raced, and the crew chiefs of the sport. That's a very tough job, and I think the driver gets a lot of credit when the crew chiefs kind of get left behind. So guys like Paul Silva, I think, makes Kyle Larson who he is. And so getting it right in the pit area and getting your car right before you go out is a huge part of it. I think I have a great group of guys with Lonnie Judy and Brendan Collin, and it's working with them to try to, not be all on my shoulders, but talk as a team to try and, read the racetrack, because I need those guys' help. I'm going to get it wrong if I try to do it by myself. So I think we have a great group of guys, and hopefully we can keep this team together, and we keep working to make ourselves better.
Last thing, how much are you looking forward to the Knoxville Nationals this year? You got the million out of the way. I know Knoxville is a place you've been fast before. You've come from deep in the field. I'm sure there are times you wish you started in the first 3 rows. Does it, obviously tough event, but does winning the million, kind of make it, do you think, make these crown jewels easier? And how much are you looking forward to the Nationals?
Definitely looking forward to the Nationals. I don't think it makes them any easier. They're very tough. The competition is so tough. For us, we need to qualify well right out of the gate in our qualifying night. That is what has held us back for the at least the past couple years, and just have a very good qualifying night and put ourselves in a spot so we don't have to start in the back on Saturday. So I feel really good racing at Knoxville. We always seem like we can race our way forward. I love how technical Knoxville is and how it races. So I think we have a great shot at that also. But it's definitely starts on qualifying on Wednesday or Thursday whenever we go out to put ourselves in a position on Saturday.
Well, good luck, obviously, at the Nationals. And yeah, Baps Motor Speedway tonight, which will be tonight when this is released. And then obviously Williams Grove this weekend. You got some big races coming up.
We do. I'm looking forward to it. Williams Grove's been kind of tough to us. We've been up and down there. But I think we learned something last time we were there. So I'm looking forward to getting back in the car at Williams Grove. But also to have a World of Outlaw race at Babs Motor Speedway. So I think Scott Gobrek and his team have done an awesome job with building that up, since I started racing. So looking forward and glad they got an outlaw show there.
Well, congratulations on your winning the million, and thank you very much for taking some time out to talk.
Sure. Thanks, Jeremy.
Moose's LZ Bar and Grill in Jonestown, PA has a history of providing great food at a great price. They have daily lunch and dinner specials, including baby back ribs on Monday, dollar tacos on Wednesday, prime rib on Friday and Saturdays, and seafood on Sunday. They also have daily drink specials. The deck is open all year round and features live entertainment May through September. For more information, go to www.mooseslz.com. Welcome back to segment 3, SprintCarLimited.com podcast presented by Wicked Brands. Ryan, it was amazing to me how many people had venomous complaints about the format at Eldora. And it didn't hear a peep until Brad Sweet and Logan Schuchart did not make the Kings Royal A main because the track was narrow because of rain. So now everybody wants it changed after, 84. 1984 is when that race started. Format was been pretty much the same. One year they used the wheel. There was a year they went with just a 5 inversion instead of a 6 for the heat races, which that didn't go over well because that puts you on the inside.
Yeah, that would be bad.
And yet Donnie Schatz won from 5th. Just saying.
Just saying.
Look, I'm gonna use look, hyphenated word, knee jerk. That's what all the complaining is. It's knee jerk. And then I'll let you take over.
So you're telling me that nobody really complained about the million format?
Not really, no.
Okay.
Nothing.
So
like
this is an easy one. This segment's almost over. Track conditions. Look, when it rains the day of the race, and it's a half a lane wide for the heat races, and everybody's exactly the same speed, it's not slick. You're using a quarter of the track that you used all the other nights in the heat races and stuff. The format, it doesn't matter what the format is. It's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. If the track conditions don't allow you to pass, no format. Look, I thought 8 was a little steep for the million. I really did. But the cream of the crop got through the 8s. The track was wide enough. It worked out. Okay. We were only 6 for the Kings Royal. I think the fastest guy was it 14th or 17th fastest qualifier.
14th, Brady Bacon.
14th. Brady Bacon was the fastest qualifier to make it into the heat race, and he ran 3rd in the heat.
Right.
I mean, basically, that got him in. That got him started. That was a gift. That got him somewhere between 18th and 22nd or 3rd or some. I mean, who wants to start back that far? But is there anything wrong with the format? I don't know. The best of the best got through 2 nights before that when the track was passable. I was out there the year it rained. I was out there the year that I remember Mark Kinzer was in the Roth car. They loaded up. There's a lot of guys that loaded up because the format was a deep invert and the track wasn't going to pass. You weren't going to be able to pass. No one loaded up this year. I mean, you knew you weren't going to be able to pass at 7 a.m. when it was raining and they probably said, hey, we're racing tonight. What did you think was going to happen?
Well, and I'm going to look, here's the, and with all due respect to Knoxville, love the National. The best heat races of the year are the Kings Royal. Every year. I've been going to that race since 87. And I hate to be old guy on the lawn now, get off my lawn guy. Get off my lawn. It's fine. It's one race. It happens when it rains. It was a variable. There's nothing you can do. Now, look, I talked to Tony Stewart Saturday night. He's not happy with the track. They had problems last year at the Dream, took 300 tracks of loads off the track. They put 600 on originally. He knows that this track holds moisture more than the previous one. That is a fact. We saw this. And I know everybody's mad that the pole sitter won every race this week. Okay, I get it. They're all pretty good. Brad Sweet, Logan Schuchart, Rico Abreu, Carson Macedo.
Rico dropped back to third.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not like he drove away. He drove
Right.
away once he got the lead again, but he dropped back to third.
Brad Sweet passed Macedo going through the corner, but Macedo got him back.
Yeah.
Look, it was the rain. It was the rain.
Yeah.
If rain hits Williams Grove for the National Open, let me tell you what's going to happen. Oh, by the way, if rain hits Knoxville, what's going to happen? Same thing. Next year, we won't be talking. Next year, we won't be talking about this if it doesn't rain.
Everybody should be happy that none of the guys that started in the back of the heat races didn't just load up. They got to watch their favorites race. I mean, I'm telling you, I was there, and I'm sure you were there. There's a lot of really high-profile teams that loaded up that year.
That was the historical big one, I think, and Steve Kinser loaded up.
Yes, maybe I don't know. Kings Roll. It was the same, basically the same format where it was a deep invert.
Yeah.
But look, I'm sure Brad Sweet didn't go back to the trailer and said, guys, we didn't qualify because we had a piece of shit car. I bet he went back to the trailer and said, guys, we could have won this race with this car. Circumstances, I mean, I drove my ass off. Circumstances didn't allow me to pass the guy in fourth to get to fourth. I tried. We had a great car. We can't be mad about it.
Well,
I mean, if I was Brad Sweet, I'd be pissed about it because it's a big payday that he doesn't get a chance to perform in. But it's circumstances. It happens once in a while.
Here's the other, and I got to throw our boy Jovan Schriltz under the bus a little bit. He's like, when it rains, change the format. No, that's California crap. Okay, where you get rid of dashes and you do all that other stuff. You're changing pill draws.
Oh,
no.
Yeah.
You can't announce a format and change it. Guys are going to get mad. And then it's going to look like you change the format for a certain individual if it turns out that way. No. Anything outside of California, the protocol is you announce a format, you follow the format.
Yeah. It's a novel idea.
I've never seen a format changed after the fact, except on the left coast.
Yeah, your favorite.
It is, but
no. Look, I'm not a huge proponent of the deep formats or the deep inverts. I'm not. I like timing in good and starting up front. But tell you what, there were some dandy heat races on Wednesday night.
Yes.
On Tuesday. Well, both. Wednesday was heads up. Tuesday was deep inverts.
No. Wednesday.
Well, I'm sorry. Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah. I'm sorry. Wednesday was. Yeah. No, there were some bangers there. The first one was incredible. I think I cut my grass, washed my car, and came back in, and it still wasn't over.
32 minutes, baby.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. There ain't no wonder people ran out of fuel.
32 minutes of fun and frolic.
Yeah, that you can't forecast that. You can't forecast that.
And here's the best part, and then we'll leave this segment. It's not changing.
Everybody called that there should have been a fuel stop for the heat race because it was so long. But you know what? They stuck to their guns. They said 60 laps or whatever the lap number was, which is absurd for a heat race. But heat races never go 35 minutes. But that would be just like changing the format. Well, this heat race is 35 minutes. We're going to have to let you guys stop for fuel. We didn't get to 60 laps, though. It'd be just like changing the format if it rained. So I don't have a problem with the Kings Row format. It's been what it is. Now, there was guys that gambled. I think I can't believe David Gravel timed 30 whatever.
33rd?
Yeah.
Oh, look, he sandbagged it. He admitted it.
Yeah, but the risk, dude, he's was he 33rd?
Yeah, he's 3 away from being out.
He's 3 away from not making the show, not even close to. I don't care how good of a car he had. guys couldn't make it from sixth. He wasn't going to make it from seventh or eighth. There ain't no way.
Well, the other thing
That's
is,
a big risk you take.
what if the last three guys pull really good laps and he's 37th?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Oh, it's a huge risk. I don't think with that doing that, I don't think they intended to be on the pole. They
No.
probably were hoping to be on the front row or third or something like that. I don't think they wanted to be first.
Well, here's the other
I
thing.
bet there were some bullets being sweat.
If the weather's different, he never does that.
Never
Never
you can pass.
Yeah. Donnie's
Yeah.
shots, I can't tell you how many times he's timed in the top 10 and won that race.
Mhm.
Because he drives through the in the heat race, he drives from fifth or sixth
Mhm.
and wins the thing or finishes. Yeah, come on.
Same thing he does at Knoxville.
Yeah, what are we talking about here? That's gonna wrap up segment 3, SprintCarUnlimited.com podcast, presented by Wicked Brands. We'll be back where we make our picks. Stay tuned.
If you're in the market for a Renegade Toter Home, Intech, Bravo, or United Sprint Car Trailer, head to the industry's #1 dealer, Capital Custom Trailer and Coaches. No one sells more sprint car trailers than Capital Custom Trailer and Coaches. Why? Well, because we ourselves are racers. We use the products. We understand the racer's needs. When it's time for your next toter home or trailer, trust the people in the pits. Capital Custom Trailer and Coaches. Find us online at capitalrenegade.com.
Welcome to the fourth and final segment, SprintCarUnlimited.com podcast, presented by Wicked Brands. Ryan, I got schooled last week in the picks. You picked up a ton of positions. I think we got pretty close to splitting on actual wins. And I think we each got a win. It's just I took it on the chin with positions because of the Kyle Larson flip. And thanks, Aaron Reitzel. And then also Logan not making the field.
Thanks, format. Go ahead, say it. Thanks, format.
No, I can't say that one. Can't say that one. So we're gonna jump in, and we're starting to get into a lot of money. You know, a lot of big shows, midweek shows. This is gonna go up through Knoxville, and then it kind of weans down a little bit. So
well, no, I think there's still big money after Knoxville. It's just on the weekends then.
yeah, we don't have midweek shows, and the schedule's not as we just got a really let's face it, we got a lot of shows coming up.
Mm-hmm.
So Lernerville Speedway, we got the Don Martin Silver Cup. I love this event. I used to go to this event. Obviously, I have some commitments this year. I can't get there, but it's 25,000. Features the All-Star Circuit of Champions. Used to be an outlaw show, but we know how that falling out went. So now it's All-Stars. And the All-Stars is kind of a busy week. They go to Lernerville, and then they go back out to Iowa and Illinois for a pair of races over the weekend. But we're going to start at Lernerville, and I'm taking Kyle Larson. I need a biggie.
So you didn't forget he was coming, huh?
Negatory on that.
Is he going to BAPS?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Okay. So I got to pick a Lernerville All-Star with 2 more All-Star races coming up. Give me Brent Marks.
Yes, I guess he is going there. Followed him yesterday on the way back. Now we got Babs Motor Speedway, World of Outlaw event. Look, I'm anxious to see how the Outlaws race there. I really like the place. Maybe it's not because I do pay-per-view there. It's not because or anything like that. We did an interview with Colton Gauss today, general manager. That place has come a long way in 8 years. I have before and after pictures. It was not good. So
No.
Scott Gobrecht, Colton Gauss have done a great job bringing that place around. I like the banking. I like the shape. I like the distance. And I want to see, I'm anxious to see the Outlaws there. And some guys have an advantage. Gio Sells, won there last year. Jacob Allen won his first 410 sprint car race there. Logan Schuchart's run there. Brad Sweet's tested there. So, Ryan, you're up first. Who are you taking at Babs Motor Speedway?
I'll take Larson.
And if he's not there?
He's not there.
Okay, let's put it this way. If he's not there, you got to be available to make a pick tomorrow. I don't want.
Okay.
Yeah, Wednesday.
You don't want to lose it.
I don't want to lose that race.
That's fine. Because you're behind. I understand. Go ahead. Keep going. You already got the gimme. The first one's the gimme. So go ahead. I will be available. You send me a text. I'll be available.
Well, I also want you to be able to pick who you want at the Grove. That's
fine.
That's the other thing. Babs is tricky. I don't really know what to do with that one because these guys are so good it really doesn't matter what I'm God, I don't want to burn him yet. I don't want to burn him yet. I want to use him at the Grove. How's this gonna go? I gotta see the layout here. Okay. Give me Brad Sweet. And then at the Grove the first night, we'll go to the Summer Nationals. On Friday, I'm gonna take Carson Macedo. Because you'll take him from me, and I know you will. That I had to.
Trying to think how I need to do this here.
See the positioning of it. Joe gets on us because we're like rubbing our heads and think it is the positioning of it because I got burned last week.
Yeah, no, it's definitely the positioning.
If it flips,
I do like going first. I do like that. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah.
Even though there's times you're still not first. Like, I'd rather be going first. But I'm gonna stop rubbing my head and make something happen here. You got Macedo. I will take. Oh, give me Donnie.
Ooh, King Donnie. And then you
should I take the $1 million man for the next night?
Might as well. Summer Nationals, 20 grand on top. Who do you got?
I'll take Lance.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted you to do.
Good.
I will take David Gravel the second night.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping you'd do that. See, I thought you would I thought you'd take Macedo, which is why I was going to take Macedo at bats. That's where I wanted him. But I was afraid you'd take him at the Grove and shut me out.
So if Larson's not there, just give me Macedo at bats.
No! All right.
Because I didn't use him.
I know you didn't.
It's legal.
I know. Got my trap shut.
Actually, you know what? You want me to take Gravel so you can keep your trap shut? I'll take Gravel.
No. You made your pick. That's it.
All right. Okay. Larson's going to win it anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, he's been there too. All-Stars head out to 34 Raceway. And I have first pick. I'm going to take Anthony Macri. He's won there this year. It'll be his second night in the car. That's where I'm going.
34.
I know who you should take here. I'll actually be surprised if you don't. All the knocks.
I guess Zeb Wise.
That's who you should. Remember, he had that good run there and came home second. It was a good pick.
And then Spoon River, I'll take a
Spoon
little,
River.
give me Eliason. I don't know anything about the place. I don't even know if Eliason will be there. I know it's a late model track, Spoon River.
I will
Who
take
would
Buddy
name a sprint car
Kofoid.
track Spoon River?
I will take Buddy Kofoid, who has run
The 83 Junior. That's right.
That's right. Sealands Grove Speedway, they're going to try again to get the Speed Week show in.
I can't believe they're doing it again.
Well,
And here's the bad part. They're going to lose their ass. They're doing it Outlaw weekend. I mean, it is just not smart, but
at
whatever.
least they're not doing it against the Outlaws. Well, that one's been done the last couple of years. I'll take Rico Abreu.
He'll be there, huh?
Yes, he will.
Hmm.
It's catch up. See this? See what this is? Cast in the line.
Yep.
Cast in the line.
Gotcha.
He'll be at the Grove too. Will not be at
Mm.
Baps taking the weekend. I'm surprised you didn't take him at Lernerville.
I didn't know he was going.
Yeah, he's going.
I wasn't privy to this information. I didn't go to Eldora.
I thought you figured that.
No, I didn't. I don't figure stuff.
It's
I just figure stuff out. Maybe sometimes too late.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's a damn good pick, Rico at Sealands Grove. That's like money in the bank there.
I didn't cheat you. I feel like I cheated you.
I don't feel bad. It's the only way. It's the only way you're gonna beat me is if you cheat me. I guess give me Dietrich.
Whose knee looked really bad, but he was going to race.
Oh.
He was going to race.
Filthy. Filthy.
He should be okay, wouldn't you think?
Man, that thing could be getting harder to bend as big as that was.
It hurt just.
Holy cow. Yeah.
Now we go to your favorite, USAC, baby.
Yeehaw.
Indiana Sprint Week. Gas Cities where we go first. You get first pick at least. You said you like first pick.
Oh yeah. Give me Brady.
Brady Bacon for Gas
Yep.
City. I should have looked ahead of time who was I'm surprised you picked him there. Give me
Why?
Because
He's gonna win them all.
no, he won't. I'll take Emerson Axum and come back with Brady Bacon at Kokomo. I thought you'd keep him at Kokomo, but you wouldn't have gotten him.
I'll take Grant at Kokomo, and then at Lawrenceburg, I'll take Cummins.
You love Cummins.
I do. He's a good racer.
Joe says, boy, he's taking Kyle Cummins a lot.
Well, look where he's at in the points, boys.
I know.
Hello.
Yeah, I know.
If you're up that far in points, you're pretty consistent, and I like consistent.
Yes. Lawrenceburg, I'm going to take Justin Grant because I think he's had a kind of a weird stretch here where he hasn't been very good. I'm going to take Justin Grant, and that'll close out our picks. I think next week we'll probably do the show on Monday again, I assume. Get it out Tuesday next week because we have High Limit at Grandview. At Grandview. So that's going to wrap up this edition of the SprintCarUnlimited.com podcast presented by Wicked Brands. Stay tuned to SprintCarUnlimited.com all week for your sprint car needs. We're going to have plenty of content, a lot of content, just like last week. We're in the meat of the season, and we'll be back next week with another show. Stay tuned.